Hi, I'm Lilanka, the author of the Muses blog. So I'm going to talk to you about my next article, which is about Minnie and Wannabes, the obsession of parents living through their children, and the disastrous results of it. So stay tuned. My daughter is so beautiful, like me. Oh my God. Okay, so these are some of the comments one often hears in Sri Lanka because there is some lovely obsession with trying to attribute everything the children do or everything they are to the parents, or trying to force them to be something that the parents want them to be, or the parents' mini version. So the mini-me's or the wannabes. And this really is detrimental to any child's development. It severely affects their self-confidence and they grow up feeling inadequate all the time. So sadly, like many mothers pit their daughters against them, and it's like, oh, you have to be as good looking as me, or if you're talented in some field, or if you achieved something, you have to be that. I mean, I remember one of my mom's friends. That aunt was very attractive and her daughter did not look like her physically, which is fine. Kids are not supposed to look at a mini version of yourself. But she was being pushed into like beauty pageants because this was the mother's unfulfilled dream. And she's coming to my mother, do you know about this one's pageant? And I'm like, oh my God, rolling my eyes, they're dying. And I felt so sorry for this girl because she was clearly doing it to satisfy her mother. And those don't always turn out great. And that's a lot of pressure too, especially in the looks department. You can't help the way you look, right? You can't change your skin color, right? This whole thing of, oh, amma wage sudu endone. Hello, no. Right? In my household, I'm very glad my parents never spoke about skin color with my brother or with me. As a result, we don't have issues with our skin tone. I did sports all my life. I didn't care that I was getting kalu because my skin didn't matter. I was doing a sport and I enjoyed it. I loved it. But so many people are like, oh, kalu and a bear, kalu and a bear. Like my mother told me I can't get dark. We're in the tropics. Go to Siberia if you don't want to have the sun. But it's such a complex because people place so much emphasis on the way you look, and then pitted against your parent, it's worse. Similarly for boys, it's always like, your father was a national cricketer. You have to be, or represent the school, get colors. And the worst is what you see today in companies. Like the son is thrust into the role of whether he's a chairman or director or whatever of daddy's company. And I'm sorry, but not all are competent to do it. Some are really miserable doing it. But they feel a sense of duty towards their father. It's like, you have to carry the family name. You have to live and, continue whatever generation number 5 or whatever, your great-grandfather set this up. And there's so much pressure on the men of today. And because men in general do not express their emotions or talk about it, these things stay bottled up and it really impacts their lives. Some men even have like breakdowns, have mental illness issues, and people don't talk about it because it's like, you to maintain the family name, right? And be the junior version of your father, right? Represent the country, do this, do that. I mean, just be you. And this is really, really debilitating. Like when you see people suffering with this, it's really sad, right? It is such a huge confidence killer for children when you start when they're small, going on about what you did and how your child is a mini you. Your child is not a mini you. It's not your clone, right? And if you have unfulfilled dreams, please achieve them even now. Plenty of people have started businesses in their 60s, 70s and become very successful, even in Sri Lanka. I know plenty of examples, right? So please stop pitting children against their parents and comparing them. There are also these really mindless, gossipy aunties, relatives who have nothing better to do. Oh, I've heard those from those because luckily my parents didn't bother, but they would like, oh, you have to do this like your aunt. You look like you're this one. You better lose some weight to look pretty like your mother and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Oh my God, please shut up. People like that, you have nothing to do with your time. Please find some hobby to like occupy yourself, because the rest of us don't want to hear about what you think I should be doing versus my parents or comparing me to them. I am not my mother. And if you're a guy, you're not your father. right? And I think it's important that parents, peers, everybody just zip and just be like, oh darling, you did your best in that. That's great, right? Regardless of what your mother and father was. And this is really important. South Asian societies thrive on this madness, these vicarious living through the kids. My child must fulfill my unattained dreams. No, your child is not your clone. It's not a mini you, it's not a wannabe you. Your child is your child. Let them live happily, freely, and content. Support them in that. They'll be so grateful. So that's really what I write about in my article, so do check it out. The link is below. Thanks.